Welcome to Redtastic. Story 1. I, 17 female, lived with my elder sister, 33 female, her husband, 41 male, and his mother, 71 female, for some months because my sister requested that I come to live with them and help look after her house and her mother-in-law while they work and sort out some financial issues. My sister's mother-in-law has Parkinson's disease, so she finds it difficult to do simple things by herself. So my sister and her husband complained that they needed more time and money so they could either turn the house into a hospice or send her to a retirement home. I spent my day looking after the frail mother-in-law and doing the chores since I came home earlier than both of them. I did all of these for free while my parents catered to my welfare and education. I soon realized that my brother-in-law was not so keen on finding a good retirement home or converting his home to a hospice as he promised, but I never minded. They were family and I didn't mind helping out. Besides, it wasn't my problem since I would be soon out anyways. I lost my laptop and my smartphone a few weeks after I relocated, and I had to share my brother-in-law's laptop with him. Since my sister's laptop is strictly for work, I used it mostly for college and scholarship applications, but I never got any feedback for a while, and seeing that my friends were getting acceptance offers for their college applications, I was truly worried. With the little money I had, I bought a fairly used phone mostly because I wanted to be able to access my mail at all times. It's hard waiting for my brother-in-law to return from work before checking on the progress of my applications. I never told my sister and her husband that I got another phone. Last week, I got an email from one of the colleges I applied to. It was my dream college and I felt nervous about opening the mail. So I postponed opening the mail until evening because I wouldn't be very nervous by then. When it was evening, I went to my brother-in-law's workstation, as is my routine, and opened my mail. I searched for the mail, but it was no longer there. I got suspicious of the whole matter because I know I got the mail and it couldn't have just disappeared. I suspected foul play when I went through my emails again and the email was not there. I checked the trash mail and what I saw was agonizing. The email I got that day was there and the other responses from my schools I applied to were also there. I took screenshots of my evidence, then I restored the important ones. It was obvious that someone who had access to my mail had been deleting it. Apart from my phone, I'm also logged into my brother-in-law's PC, so he's the prime suspect. I rushed to the living room and I immediately confronted my brother-in-law for deleting my emails. He denied it at first, but when I presented my evidence, he began scolding me for disrespecting him. His actions were hurtful and I felt completely destabilized. When he said that he deleted my acceptance emails because he didn't see any prospect in me. According to him, I was not smart enough for college and going for one was a waste of money. My sister did nothing to defend me while her husband said all these awful things. I didn't respond to his vituperations. I just went to my room, packed my bags, and booked a taxi ride to my parents' home. By the time they realized what I was doing, it was too late for them to stop me. It didn't take long for them to call my parents, asking me to come back and blaming me for absconding from my duties. After giving them my promise that I'd take care of my sister's mother-in-law until they save enough money. But I already told my parents that my brother-in-law has been deleting my college acceptance emails because he felt my going to one was a waste. When my parents questioned his actions, he vehemently denied deleting my acceptance emails, accusing me of being a spoiled child that wants to create bad blood. My parents had seen my evidence and they told my sister and her husband so. They're quite mad at my brother-in-law, so they stopped taking his calls. Now my sister is mad at me for snitching, while my brother-in-law is calling me a selfish a-hole for leaving his sick mom stranded, since they can't find a caregiver within their budget. Update. Hi everyone, I appreciate the support and kind words I received after sharing my ordeals at the hands of my brother-in-law. My brother-in-law has been unable to retain a caregiver for long because he cannot afford their fees, and he does not have enough money to keep his mother in a retirement home. We are no longer on speaking terms and I blocked him from ever calling me. I'll be leaving for college soon and I'm looking forward to getting a degree in my chosen career path. Thank you. Your brother-in-law is a selfish a-hole, OP, and your sister isn't any better either. I don't understand how she could have supported what he did. What he did was disgusting and it almost ruined your life. He had no good reason for doing it. His excuse about him not wanting you to waste money is BS, because you won't be the one paying for your college fees. He had no right to make that decision after everything you've done for him. I would go no contact with my sister too if I were you, at least until she gives you a sincere apology and agrees with you that what her husband did was wrong. Just because you love someone doesn't mean you should support them when they're being a-holes and hurtful to other people. Story 2. I, 62 female, lost my wife 10 years ago. This happened during that time, but has been brought up recently. When my wife died, I ended up relying heavily on my oldest, who was 16, and I'll call her Nancy. She gave up the most, I'll admit that, because I needed someone to watch their younger boys while I worked. She could no longer be a part of her soccer team or her art program. I needed her home. During her senior year, she told me going to prom was very important to her and to please figure something out so she could go. I said I would, but ended up forgetting about it and worked late. I got home to find her crying in a dress. I was tired and didn't want to get into it, and told her I was sorry, but it wasn't like she missed anything important. Nancy didn't talk to me for days after that. When her college letters started coming in, I didn't think much of it and assumed she would pick a college close to home. Well, she ended up getting a partial scholarship to a school several hours away. I was pretty upset because I still needed help, but she said she gave up 2 years of doing anything for herself to take care of her brothers and she wasn't a replacement mom. And I used her. I said she was being dramatic and she couldn't abandon her family. What were we supposed to do? She said I should be a parent and figure it out. There was a big fight, but she left anyways. I don't have much contact with her now. My oldest son is a senior this year and he was FaceTiming Nancy saying there wouldn't be a prom and how he understood, but he was disappointed because he really wanted to take his girlfriend. Nancy said she understood because she didn't get to go to her senior prom either. He said he was sorry, but she said it wasn't his fault, he was just a kid, and that I didn't come home when I was supposed to, so she missed it. I came in and said it was pretty pathetic she was still hung up on that, and she snapped back. It was far more pathetic to be so inept as a parent I couldn't handle giving her one night that I knew was important to her. She then said goodbye to her brother and signed off. My son said I'm an a-hole and that it was no surprise Nancy wanted nothing to do with me. I got angry and grounded him, but he just laughed. I don't think it was at all appropriate for her to tell him that, but my son maintains I'm the a-hole here. So am I the a-hole? You are the a-hole, OP. Nancy was your daughter, not your co-parent. There are many different ways you could have gotten extra help, such as moving closer to adult and consenting family or hiring someone to come watch your kids when you couldn't. But instead, you expected her to be her mother and forced all those responsibilities and constraints on her. You screwed her big time, and it sounds like you still don't realize how shitty of a parent you were to your daughter. Now for some comments. You are the a-hole. You are 100% an a-hole for expecting your oldest child to act as a replacement parent following your wife's death. You stole years from her childhood in the wake of the family's loss and expected that she would assume your caretaker obligations. That is not only extremely selfish, it's also extremely lazy. You did use her, and your resentment at her leaving you in the dust is totally uneffing founded. You are the parent in this scenario, and you sure as hell should have figured things out, a-hole. Yes, you're the a-hole, a huge a-hole. Your child is not a parent, and it was reprehensible of you to force that responsibility on her and act like she owed it to you. I'm not at all surprised she doesn't speak to you. Clearly your son agrees. I'm sure you're asking, what else should I have done? How about anything but robbing your child of important formative experiences? Sure, you probably would have had to pay a little more money or been required to make more sacrifices to your own lifestyle. But you are the parent here, not your daughter. You are the a-hole. You ruined her teenage years and don't even feel bad about it. You go on and on about family being important, but by what you've written, you don't consider your daughter family, just a glorified babysitter. She had to give up everything because you were so inept and frankly misogynistic that you just expected it from her. To get a babysitter for your boys. Did your boys give up the things they loved, or was it just her? Did you even apologize for what you did? Or again, expect her, because she's a woman, to just get over it? and bend to your needs again. No wonder she has low contact with you. Story 3. I am a 45-year-old mom who had 2 14-year-old boys in my last marriage. I have a 12-year-old daughter now in my new marriage. Last Christmas, I gave my daughter a Mac Pro and a used iPhone 8. I gave my 2 kids some Joy-Con controllers and a game. When they saw my daughter open her Christmas presents, they were both furious and refused to talk to me. They have an old 2008 laptop and an old 2009 computer. Their dad gave them an upgrade to both 2016 computers. Anyway, this is where the issue comes. Anytime we go to a family dinner, a theme park, etc., they ruin the mood. They tell me, "Oh, are you going to give your daughter more food? Is she going to be a fat ass now?" Then we went to a theme park. They said something to me in a passive-aggressive way that, "Oh, is your daughter going to get first pick? Hopefully she does not develop a fear of heights." My son rarely ever talks to me anymore. Sometimes they refuse to go to my area for a custody arrangement. Am I the a-hole? Edit. My daughter is my new kid with my new husband, and my other sons are with my ex-husband from another marriage. Now for some comments. Oh my god, you are the a-hole. Think of it like you bought the daughter 4 Lamborghinis and you bought the sons a sliding door of a minivan to share. The sons are not in the right at all to be mean to their sister, but when they see the obvious favoritism, their behavior is understandable and, in my opinion, justified. You are the a-hole for publicly favoring your daughter over your sons. That makes your sons feel as if you don't love them as much as your daughter, which makes you a shitty person. You shouldn't spend thousands of dollars on one child and not the others. You're the a-hole plain and simple, and you're also a narcissist if you don't understand why. You are the a-hole. You gave your daughter a MacBook Pro, I assume new, and a used iPhone 8. And you got them a pair of Joy-Con controllers and a game. Are you effing kidding me? A MacBook Pro is close to $1,200, and the iPhone even used was probably $300, and Joy-Con controllers are $95 to $199. And I assume you got them either a shared game, which is at best $90, or each a game, which is another $90, and you expect them to be happy with the clear favoritism you're displaying. Christ's sake, lady, if you were my mother, I wouldn't want anything to do with you either.